Live. Hope you're all well. Oh, one sec. Let me just get that set up. There we go. Much better. How I became the best in the world at cold approach. Wanted to put that title out there because, first of all, no one else has got the balls to actually put that sort of self-declaration onto the internet. Most people are just cowering away, being like, oh, I'm kind of good. And yeah, I want this to be the energy that you move with, especially this week. I want this to be the best Renaissance week of your life. I want you to achieve rip-roaring success, not just with cold approach, but everything that you're doing. Yeah, I've never seen the point in starting anything if you didn't want to be the best at it, right? So that's the energy that I want you to be moving with this week. Yeah, everything that you commit to, I want you to commit to being the best. And when I say be the best, just apply yourself as if you are the best in the world at that thing. You know, like just acting as if, yeah, if you're going to train in the gym, if you're going to spend time with your family, if you are going out there to cold approach, just go all in with it, right? Like leave nothing on the table, like go all in. And yeah, you get out what you put in, don't you? You know, I always say to people, like, you'll get out of this process what you decide to put into it. And I do think a lot of us were guilty of playing it too small. Yeah, I think there's this very strange culture that we live in where it's like the participation trophy. It's like, you know, be humble, but I don't know. I think there's a time and the place for just moving from this unapologetic sense of self-adoration. So yeah, I want to basically use this live stream to break down my process. So I did my very first cold approach on the 4th of July 2020, back when I was living in Leeds. And in a relatively short space of time, in my humble, honest opinion, I've gone from not having any idea what I was doing, and it's all documented on my channel as well, so you can actually see the rise in a relatively short space of time from doing my very first cold approach to where I'm at right now. So yeah, I basically just want to break down everything that I've done. And yeah, hopefully by watching this live stream all the way through, you're going to be able to take things that I've done, apply them to your own process of personal renaissance, and it's just going to make you better, right? Like it's just going to make you better, even if it's 1% better, even if it's 10%, whatever it is, you will be better at cold approach and life game in general through this live stream. So yeah, I've made notes. I'm going to drop a lot of sauce on this one. So yeah, just like the stream if you appreciate the work. I'm going to start off on a sad note. I had to say goodbye to Ephraim today, which was really sad. We've been here inside for the month. First worked together in Warsaw last year. And like all the guys who I work with, it's a case of the time that we spend together, that initial coaching, that's just the start of everything. Yeah, like we had a month together in Warsaw. Now, almost a year later, we've had this month together in Cyprus. And you know, that's what it's about. When I say I am the best in the world at cold approach, I don't just mean the skill, but I mean the results that I get from my clients, the level of care that I give to every individual who I decide to work with. It's holistic. And I think I like the idea of allowing my clients to do the talking on my behalf. Like when I bring Ephraim onto a live stream and he's talking about his journey, like, you know, going on dates with Instagram models, starting his own YouTube, like it just fills me with so much joy because it's never just been about this one thing, like cold approach. It's not been about day game, it's been about life game. And like the goal has always been the same. Like, how can I be the best in the world at this? And how can I help my brothers rise? So yeah, it's just been an amazing month. I really enjoyed it. Next link up is going to be Buenos Aires in April. And yeah, that's just the energy, man. It's just like, you know, holistic life game, just bringing everyone who is accepted to work with me along for the ride. Rising tide lifts all the boats, and yeah, it's just what it is. You know, it's a personal commitment to your lifelong success. So yeah, big shout out to Ephraim. Like you've made this trip truly special. And yeah, I can't wait to link up with you again in Argentina. So I got a really nice comment from an anonymous stranger, which I think would provide a nice level of social proof for this live stream. So this guy commented on one of my videos and he said, I gotta tell you, you are the only one I know. You're the only one who I know of who is still in the day game sphere and does actually get legit attraction from girls. Almost everyone else nowadays think game is just giving her a compliment and then jumping directly into asking mundane questions about herself and then badgering her for the number. it is only in your interactions do you see what the guys back in the day, even a decade ago, were doing, i.e. sparking legit attraction where the girls are laughing, intrigued, and actually emotionally engaged. You actually do the audacious cold reads, the exaggeration, the accusation, the disagreeing, the getting her to chase, which is what get girls attracted. I think that line there is actually really powerful. You actually do the audacious cold reads, like audacious cold reads being like, you look like you could be up to no good. You're wearing all black. Like you remind me of some like, I don't know, undercover sexy ninja, catwoman, a nun on the run, whatever it is. The exaggeration, the accusations, the disagreeing part's really important as well. Just remind ourselves to, when you are in a conversation with a girl, like it's fine to disagree with her. Like I think a lot of guys, you might be one of them. You started off as the perpetual nice guy, and breaking rapport, i.e. disagreeing with what people say, doesn't come naturally to you. And if that is where you're at right now, which is a position a lot of my clients are in actually, then just set the intention this week to disagree more. Yeah, like, and I think when it comes to disagreeing with people, it comes down to knowing yourself and having unapologetic self-expression. I think an issue as well on the wider hinterland is, like, if you work a 9-to-5 job where you're almost conditioned to have to think certain things, otherwise you might risk losing your job, then you're in an environment which castrates you of your confidence. And that's why you might find it then more difficult when you go and have these cold approach conversations, because you're still kind of in office mode. But yeah, I would say just do your best this week. Just start disagreeing with people more. It comes down to knowing yourself. What do you believe in? What don't you believe in? It doesn't matter. It's not about being an arsehole, but yeah, it's just about knowing yourself. So I think that disagreement part is really important. That's a good amount of value already. So I'm pleased with that. And then the final thing he said, and for all the day gamers who drone on about English girls being ungameable and ply their trade only in Eastern Europe, in your interaction, surprise, surprise, there are tons of British, Australian, and other Western women, and you get legit attraction from them too. Keep doing what you're doing. At least the guys who chance upon game only now know what real effective games looks like because of you. I really appreciate that comment, my brother. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you live. Your username is random stuff 6962. The in a long lineage of random stuff from the 6962 generation. But I really appreciate you taking the time to comment that. But yeah, hopefully that then I don't know, evidence has got the loudest voice. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into it. Like how I became the best in the world at daytime cold approach, how you can learn from what I've done, apply it to your game, and then by actually implementing this stuff, you're going to become even better at it. So as if I'm not the most articulate today, it's been a heavy weekend. Right, so as I said, I did my first ever daytime cold approach on the 4th of July 2020. At the time, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I'd just come out of a long-term relationship, which I decided to end because I wanted to pursue this. But yeah, long story short, I looked like a turnip, dressed like a moron, and was what most people would consider below average across the board. So how did that guy, the guy that you can see from, like, if you go back onto my oldest videos, like how did that guy go from where he was to who I am now? Like what were the actual steps that I took? So these are notes that I've made, and yeah, hopefully they're valuable to you. So the first important thing is compounding investments. Now I'm not talking about like the S&P 500 or investing into stocks. What I mean when I say compounding investment, it's when you are new to this, or even if you have been in the game for a long time, maybe you've gotten a little bit rusty, investing wholeheartedly into the process, right? It's basic cause and effect, right? You take an action, you get a result, but the true result of your actions might not come into fruition until another 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And this is why most people quit things, right? Because they think in days rather than decades, right? We're living in that society now, addicted to instant gratification. Like you'll get some like 17-year-old kid in Dubai who you see on YouTube, and it must all be true if it's on YouTube. You'll see some 17-year-old kid or whatever who's just made like 5 million, and you're like, oh, why am I not doing that? Like I must be so far behind. It's like there's just so much bullshit on the internet to start off with, but everyone is operating on their own timeline, right? We're all operating on our own timeline. But the main thing that I want you to understand is the compounding investment of your action, you might not even see the fruits of your labor until another six. Like, so for example, let's say you go out, and this is a really practical schedule that anybody can follow, and I would recommend that you follow this. Let's say you aim to do 30 approaches every single week for the next 90 days. Let's just imagine that. Like, that's actually a really practical Renaissance schedule that you can commit to. Like, very few guys are actually going to do it. So let's imagine that you commit to doing 30 approaches every single week for the next 90 days. You're having this like 90-day obsession period where you just go hard. Yeah, you just give yourself full permission to go hard with cold approach. Like, for the first month, right, so that would be 120 approaches. Those first, because I always say to people, right, the first 100 approaches you do, they're just batting practice, right? You're not even in the game yet. You haven't even started. You're still a baby. But the trouble is, a lot of guys, right, they'll go out, maybe they'll do like 1 or 2 approaches a month. Then they'll complain they're not getting results. And they'll complain that cold approach doesn't work. And it's like, dude, it works for me. It works for the guys that I work with. And then the common denominator is not the vehicle, it's the person who's driving. Right? Like, you cannot say that cold approach doesn't work. What you're saying is it's not worked for you. That's what you're saying. So it's not the vehicle's fault. It's your fault, right? If you haven't found a way to make cold approach work, and you've been at this for, bro, if you've been trying to do this on your own now for a year and you've still not got anywhere, come on, bro. Like, you need to wake up, right? You seriously need to wake up, because it's not the discipline, right? It's not cold approach's fault why you're not getting any quote unquote results. Like, you are the problem. So you need to find people who are going to help you, right? Like, you're either going to pay with time or you pay with money. People pay with whichever one they value the least. So yeah, look, if you've been doing this for a year and you've still not gotten anywhere, then you're the problem. It might be the way you look, it might be the way you think, it might be the way you talk, right? Those are usually the 3 things: the way that you think, the way you look, or the way that you talk. See, conversations will be shit. So you need to start recording audio of your conversations so you can get a point of reference. I look like how I used to look 4 years ago. I look like a turnip. I just look terrible. So this does impact, right? It's like, there's a difference between being good looking and looking good, right? Like, looks matter, but that is the important nuance. Yeah, big difference. Yeah, big difference between being good looking and looking good. And it's within any man's power to improve upon what he's been given to become the most fuckable version of himself, right? And the people who complain, the people who are not trying, right? Like, we've all got a genetic baseline that we're working with, of course, but the way you win at the game of life, it's not by complaining about the cards you've been dealt, but playing your hand to the best of your ability. Because, like, what's your other option? You know, what is your other option? You're just going to sit around crying to your pillow and complain. Like, no one gives a fuck, right? Like, no one else is coming to save you. So yeah, don't blame the vehicle, right? It's like, say like something like, oh, cold approach doesn't work. Like, what do you mean? Right? Like, what is cold approach? Cold approach is having conversations with people. This is how humans have procreated and pair bonded since the dawn of humanity. It's through face-to-face communication, right? It's by meeting people through organic interaction, right? So if you're saying cold approach doesn't work, you're the problem. But point being, you have to appreciate the compounding interest of the investments, right? So for the first month of you doing this, let's say you did 120 approaches in a month, and let's say you didn't get anywhere. Let's just say you didn't get any dates, just as an example. You need to understand and be thinking that you have to have the long-term strategy, right? You need that long-term strategy, because the approaches and the person that you're becoming, it's like, you might not see the fruits of your labor for another couple of months, but by the time you get to the end of that 90 days, you've got so much more experience in the field. You've learned what works, you learned what hasn't worked, that you're able to decipher, you're able to audit, you're able to actually learn through doing. Yeah, there's far too many guys just ruminating in theory, right? They're just like, their actions don't match their ambitions, and that's why they fail, right? They say, I want to become great at cold approach. I want to speak multiple languages. I want to build a 7-figure business, but they're just scrolling TikTok, right? They're not planning for anything. They have toxic habits, right? They're just drinking too much, they're smoking too much, they're consuming rather than creating. And it's the compounding interest of your investments, like your personal investments. And the interesting thing as well is, like, cold approach, actually becoming great at cold approach, it's not just through doing cold approach, it's leveling up holistically. Yeah, because what is game? Yeah, game It's learning how to get what you want, but game is a way of delivering your value to the world, right? The more value that you've built, the more of a valuable asset that you are, the better your results are going to be. Like, that's as simple as it gets, which means just look as good as possible, have a fulfilling lifestyle which nourishes you, have great relationships with people, take care of your mental health, remove any toxic habits which are castrating you of your confidence, and then invest into the process, right? I'm not saying trust in the process, because trust into the process for me has always felt too passive. Like, oh, just have faith, bro. Like, yeah, having faith is great, but I think investing into the process, it creates something active, right? Investing into the process. So going out, aiming to do 30 approaches every single week, recording the audio of your conversations, and recognizing, and this is crucial, especially if you're a younger guy, like if you're, let's say you're 25 or below right now, if you're a young guy, then you're really, like, what you're doing, you are investing into the identity of the man who you want to become. Yeah, like the sexual marketplace doesn't even start taking you seriously until I would say, like, I'm 27 now. I would say only now, really, is when the sexual marketplace is going to start taking me more seriously. Like Joseph said to me, like, the older you get, the more women, the better quality of women that you're going to attract. I think it's like 7 years. Like, women date up, men date down. I think like 7 years. So like if a girl's like 27, you're 34, ka-ching. But yeah, just understanding it's playing long-term games. I think a lot of people, they're not prepared to play those. They just want magic bullets. They just want quick fixes. Like, oh, like just like the old school marketing, which is just, it's just obsolete now, isn't it? It's like, like how to get any girl's number in 5 easy steps, or how to get any girl obsessed with you in 2 minutes. It's like, I think most people have woken up to the bullshit. You realize that to actually attract, you need to become, right? We become what we attract. We attract what we become, and we become what we practice. So I actually think that's the most important thing from this live stream. It's playing that long-term game, like having that long-term vision, understanding that the work that you're doing now, it might not pay off for another 2 years, but you're okay with that and you're enjoying it. You have to enjoy this game, right? People take it way too serious. Like, must go out, must do 30 approaches, no pain, no gain. Like Joseph was saying to me, like this whole like no pain, no gain mindset, it fucks you up. It's like, why can't we just go out there and just enjoy it? Like, why do we have to associate women with stress? Why can't we associate them with relaxation rather than thinking about everything that could go wrong today? Think about what could go right? And if you actually have that internal energy where you're operating, you're living for an audience of one, right? You are your own mental point of origin. I'm saying to myself every day that I'm the best in the world at cold approach. I'm putting it out there because I believe in speaking things into existence. Like, no one else is rating you, right? Like when Cristiano Ronaldo comes off the football field, he doesn't celebrate his teammates. Like, yo, Ronaldo, he's got a hat trick. What do you think about your performance? Like, yeah, fucking smashed it, mate. Best player on the field by far, right? Like, you don't get to the top if you don't think you deserve to be at the top, because, in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you think you deserve. So yeah, I just don't, like, if you get triggered by someone who says, who unapologetically declares to the world, I'm the best in the world at cold approach. If you get triggered by that, that's not my fault. That is shining a spotlight onto your self-limiting beliefs, right? So yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, speaking things into existence, like praying as if it's already been done. As a man thinketh, so is he. So yeah, that's the first point. I think that's really valuable though. So just playing the long-term game. Yeah, like the person who, I'm 27 right now, the person that I'm going to be in like 10 years when I get to 37, man, that guy is going to be an absolute animal, like absolute monster. And I can't wait. Like, I've already met that person. Do you know what I mean? It's like future projection. I'm meeting myself in the future. And then I'm returning back to this moment to become that person, right? Investing into the identity that we want to embody. So yeah, compounding investment. That's the first thing. Yeah. Understand that your actions, it's playing the long-term game. Another thing for me, like something that really, really helped on my journey, like from where I started, is knowing that it all went deeper than day game. And I think this is a crucial mindset for anybody who wants to become, let's say, top 1% in the world at this skill set of cold approach. For me, the thing that helped leverage my success was having a greater why, let's say. Let me just take a drink. Having a greater why. So like for me, it's always gone deeper than day game. Right? It's never been a case of, oh, I want to get good at day game because I want to be good at day game. No, it's like the women, like beautiful women are a beautiful byproduct of a beautiful life, right? The women for me have always been the cherry on top, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's not about who I'm attracting, it's about who I'm becoming through this process. Like I've always likened it to the hero's journey. Yeah, this process of personal renaissance where we're forging a new identity through the fires of adversity. And I made a list of all the things which cold approach has really cold approach has changed my life. But if I'm going to get specific about it, the emotional resilience that I've built through doing this. Yeah, if you're going out and you're getting battered with brutal blowouts, like I think one of my greatest, I call them epiphanovas, by the way. An epiphanova is like an epiphany combined with a supernova, like a thought just igniting like a star in my mind. Like the greatest epiphanova that I had very early on in my journey is not every girl is going to be into me. And maybe my narcissism and egoism was like unnecessarily large, especially when I look like a turnip. But like I think there was a level of grandiosity that I had which got shattered through cold approach. Like, I realized that, oh yeah, not every girl, not every girl wants to get with me, and that's okay. Like this process of ego death, like destroying our ego through this process. Like I know it's like transcendence. Do you know what I mean? It's like you started off just like a scared little boy. Oh no, rejection. Oh no, girls don't actually like me. Like whatever. And then it's like, you go through all that shit. I get this links to like the compounding investments as well. It's like the deeper you go, and then it's like you just kind of like just transcend the game altogether. And it's like, yeah, it is what it is, right? It's called game for a reason. If we don't play, we don't win. And just being able to play the game rationally. I think when I first started, I was still an emotional player, right? Because I just hadn't been hardened yet. I hadn't been hardened by the library of life in regards to cold approach. So I think I was definitely playing the game more emotionally. I think I was still subscribing to the belief of like the one and the happily ever after. But yeah, being able to play the game on this rational level, understanding that to a large degree, game is amoral. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like the world is motivated by self-interest. And we all just want the best deal for ourselves, right? So like, if a girl has better options than you, then she's well within her right to exercise those options. I think just try not to take as much stuff personal. But yeah, the emotional resilience, becoming the chooser rather than the chosen. Like I always loved that. Just being able to basically I always saw day games as the cheat code into the sexual marketplace. Like you can just bypass the bullshit rather than swiping your life away on a screen or settling for low quality girls in grotty nightclubs. It's like, right, there's a beautiful woman. I don't care if she's sat in a cafe, if she's in the library or at a museum. I can penetrate her reality, go straight to the source, declare my desire in a non-needy way, and just having this invitational energy. Yeah, but being the chooser rather than the chosen. It's always reminds me of, those games, like the grabber, where it's like at the fairground, like you put like a pound in, and it's like, it's like, just picks one at random. Yeah, it's like that. Rather than being one of those like weird little like alien cretin things, it's like you're the person on the outside who's actually like hand picking what they actually want. And I think that just feeds in so beautifully. It's like going after what you want rather than settling for what you think you can get. Like that is like one of my favorite mantras from this whole process. I think it encapsulates cold approach perfectly. Going after what you want rather than settling for what you think you can get. Yeah, right. Rather than settling for a life of mediocrity, rather than settling for a life suffocating in the beige and the normalcy. It's like, no, I don't want a life of mediocrity. I want the best for myself. And a mindset that I've always had is, what would my son think of me? I don't have a son yet, but that's like when I'm talking to you about thinking in decades rather than days. The only way that I can get anybody to respect me is if I respect myself. And I want to be able to look into the eyes of my son when he's born and be like, yeah, go after the things that you want. I don't give a fuck what anyone says to you. I don't care how difficult you think it's going to be. I don't care about all the turmoil and tribulations that you need to go through. You can do it, right? And I can say that because I did it. Do you understand? And it's like, when you're on a date with a girl and you've met that girl through organic cold approach rather than just being like another one who just swiping his life away. It's like, yeah, I've earned that. Yeah, I've earned that date. I've earned this one. But most importantly, above all else, I've earned me. You know what I mean? I've earned my respects. Yeah. Like, what would my son think of me? Like, what would my son think of me if I didn't create this movement? What would my son think of me if I just played it safe and pussied out and settled for a life of mediocrity, sinking into the comfort quicksand? Like, fuck that shit. Like, this is why I say I'm the best in the world at daytime call approach, because when my son is born, I want to program him with these empire visions. I don't want him to play it safe. I don't want him to have all the self-limiting beliefs that I grew up with. I want him to just be flooded with positive reinforcement and just know that, you know, he can do anything. Yeah, I always want to like hypnotize him early on. And like when I take him to like the playground, I'm just like, yeah, go over, talk to that girl, go approach her, just say something. And he's like tumbling over himself, don't know what the fuck to say. But like, you know, just like conditioning my son early on that conversation is normal and conversation is healthy. Do you know what I mean? And these are just the thoughts that I have. I'm just sharing them because I think it's nice to be transparent. But like, I just think it's super important that when we have children, that we raise them not to be day gamers, but just to understand, like just normalizing it. Like, I don't want my son to be brought up thinking it's normal to swipe on a screen, right? Like, I want him to know that he's got the audacity to go after what he wants. You know, there's a girl in the playground, little Kristian, like, go over, you know, go talk to her. Just keep talking to people. But yeah, just having that, being the chooser rather than the chosen. I think when we are in that mindset, then we dictate our reality, you know, rather than being dictated to, we dictate. And not dictating in like some tyrannical way. It's just like, I know myself, I know who I am, I know what I want, this is what I will not accept, and these are the things that I desire, and I'm going to go 100% to get them. Yeah, the bulletproof self-respect that you earn, said that. And then I think this is the most important point as well. And I truly, truly, truly believe this. And I think this one sentence, it's going to inspire you. It's going to change your life. It's going to remind you why you got into this in the first place. If you've not done it yet, I hope it inspires you to take radical action. Listen to this sentence. If you can day game, right? If you can day game and you can become great at it, you can do anything. Right, if you can do this, right, then you can do anything. And it's not just a case of doing it, it's a case of getting supremely good at it. It's like 1% of guys actually have the balls to do it, but then 1% of those guys actually become great at it. I've said it before. There's a lot of strange people in this industry, and they think that all they need to do, like that comment at the start, which I read you, elucidates too. They think all they need to do is approach. Like, bro, newsflash, the approach, right? The approach, like going over and saying something. The approach is the easy part, and that's gonna upset so many people because like, oh, you don't know what it's like. My approach anxiety is so severe. Like, no one gives a fuck, right? Literally nobody gives a fuck, right? The approach is the easy part. If you still can't approach, and you've been trying this for like, bro, if you've been trying to go out there on your own for like 1 month and you still can't approach anybody, then for fuck's sake, just get somebody to help you. It might not be me, but just get somebody. Like, it might be a friend, it might be a wing, it might be a fucking family member who can just give you a kick up the arse. Like, the approach is the easy part. The difficult part, I don't like to put difficult, but like, once the approach is out the way, then the real game is actually played. It's building investment, making that girl desperate to see you again, how to actually handle someone else's emotions. Like, you know, the thing that he was talking about, like doing the cold reading, the assumptions, just being a playful character who, and also has that level of amused mastery as well. Like, amused mastery is like a label which I would associate with a character like James Bond, and this feeds into the hero's journey, building that bulletproof bravado. Amused mastery is like, you know, you've seen it all, you've done it all, you've forged your identity through the fires of adversity. Nothing phases you anymore. You know, you've almost got this like this unflinching steeliness. You know, you've got that glint in your eye where you see in a lot of like ex-military guys or guys who fight for a living. Like, they've got this gravitas, they've got this groundedness. And I think that when you are putting yourself through a lot of approaches and you're dealing with rejections, you're dealing with the whole, like, you know, oh, I'm seeing somebody, oh, I've got a boyfriend, oh, I'm not really sure, whatever it is. And like, you're learning how to actually overcome all. And it's not like this, like, it's not from a place of manipulation, it's from a place of love. It's like, your product is so great that you just want to share it. You just want people to have it. It feels like you're sitting on Bitcoin in 2008. It's like, my product is so good that I just want to share it with the world, like your product being you. You know what I mean? So she's like, oh, well, I'm kind of seeing somebody. Well, you know, we're all sort of seeing somebody, aren't we? I tell you what, drop your number, I'll send you one message, and then you can do whatever you want with that, say with a smile on your face. But like, yeah, just putting yourself in the best place possible, having this sense of amused mastery. I think this is really good for this week as well. Like, whenever you're faced with challenge and difficulty and adversity, like having this unflinching James Bond-esque type of thing. And maybe, I don't know, you miss your train, maybe you get in trouble at work, maybe, I don't know, if you've got a girlfriend, your girlfriend's pissed off with you, maybe there's no hot water at your place, maybe fuck knows, you get like an unexpected bill, whatever it is. All of these things are, they're blessings in disguise. Yeah, it's God acting in disguise to make you better. That's what I believe. Like all of the inevitable vicissitudes of life, like a difficult conversation with a girl, something, going south at work, whatever it is, it's God in disguise. It's God's way of attempting to make us better. And I really do believe that the discipline of cold approach, it's a catalyst for the rest of our life, right? And this has always been my mindset. This is how I got so good so fast. It was knowing that when I'm going out there, I am investing into the identity of the man who I want to embody. It's deeper than day game. It's not just about girls, right? It's holistic. It's becoming the most fuckable version of yourself. It's going after the things that you want rather than settling for the things that you think you can get. And ultimately living a life free from bullshit. I've worked with a lot of guys now, a lot of high achievers, guys who on paper have got it all, right? They're making 6 or 7 figures. They've cashed out, they've got the materialistic trophies, flashy car, flashy watch, but the thing that's really missing, and it's not even the intimacy, it's not even like, oh, I want to be able to get dates on demand. Like that, yeah, that's the thing, but like the deeper you dig, you realize that they just want to be free. And that's why I use the mantra free from bullshit or freedom from bullshit. I think that's really what it is. Like when you do genuinely feel freedom from bullshit, where you feel alive, where you feel as though you're operating from that place of wholeness rather than from that place of lack. You feel as though you can do anything. You feel as though you're on top of the world. Like God is just radiating through you. You've got unapologetic self-adoration. Like that's what it's about. And that's what Cold Approach has and continues to provide to me. It's just this unflinching self-adoration where, I don't know, it's just a case of like, yeah, I actually like myself. I get to the end of my days, I'm like, yeah, genuinely making a difference to the world today, Kristian. Doing well, man. And yeah, I think just having that mindset, when you are going out there, maybe you are getting a lot of blowouts or maybe things are going well, things are going great, but never lose sight that it does go deeper than day game. It's about who we're becoming through this process. The other way that I was able to become the best in the world at this skill set was because I had a head start on most people. Like I was a magician for 10 years. I remember when I was saying to you that the compounding investments, yeah, like I'd already gone through 10 years of approach anxiety, battling through my own bullshit. Like I'd already done my, let's say, approach apprenticeship period with magic. So on the 4th of July 2020, when it came to actually starting and getting like started with this, like the process was already similar to me, right? I'd been approaching people since I was 13, right? I was going around parks in the Lake District. I was performing magic around the big city of Liverpool, getting told to fuck off by very angry Scouse people. Like I'd already hardened myself to the social circus, and therefore I already knew the process. I knew, right, there's going to be a lot of blowouts, there's going to be a lot of learning, there's going to be a lot of undesirable outcomes, but it's like I already knew the process, right? Like I already knew how it would play out. And I think what's important is when I first saw my very first cold approach video, it was a guy who was approaching girls in Barcelona. As soon as I saw that video, I said to myself, not only am I going to do this, I'm going to become the best in the world at it. I'm going to become the best you've ever done, just from that one video. And then after I watched that video, I just got started. I just got started immediately. And I think that's so crucial. I think this is what separates successful people from just the procrastinators, right? Like the successful people, they'll make a decision to go all in with something, like one thing, and then they'll just act fast, right? Like if you're just ruminating day after day thinking, oh, should I, shouldn't I? And then another year goes past and then another year after that, and you've still not gotten started. You're still basically in the same position that you started when you were ruminating. Apart from now, you've got more and more self-limiting beliefs inside of you. like as soon as you see that first video, as soon as you think to yourself, yeah, this is possible. It's not just cold approach, but anything like, I don't know, making money online, or learning a language, or traveling to a far away land. Like as soon as you have an idea of what it is that you want to do, you just take action immediately. Like I have a very good friend of mine who's going to be in Bangkok with me in March, and so essentially he just dropped me a message because he was meant to be traveling around Europe for the summer, but anyway, scrap that. He wants to go to Southeast Asia, so he's going to be doing 6 months in Thailand. And like I got a message from him, I can't remember what it was, like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing Europe anymore, I'm going to go to Bangkok. On that same night, I'd booked my flights and booked my accommodation, like because I knew that's what I wanted to do. So why are we pissing our time away? Like why are we waiting about it? Like what more information could you possibly need? You know this is something that you want to do. You've seen all the videos, you've got all the information. What you're lacking is implementation. And the longer you leave it, the more difficult it becomes. So that's why, in my opinion, I was able to get so good so quick. I saw that first video, I decided, that's the important part, I decided that I wanted to be the best who's ever done it. And I just started going out immediately. I didn't want perfect, I wanted progressive. And I knew that as long as I was falling forward, I was falling forward. Issue these days, people are like, oh yeah, but I'm a perfectionist. No, you're insecure. That's what perfectionism means. I used to say, yeah, I'm a perfectionist. No, I'm just cripplingly insecure, right? Like there's never a perfect time to get started. The perfect time is right now. Nobody's allergic to a compliment, right? You're never going to feel worse off for doing a cold approach, right? Like even if your emotional state is hindered by it, you have that sense of self-respect, right? You're like, yes, oh, I did it. And it feels like a relief. Like the first time, I remember when I did my first ever cold approach, it was in the Merrion Centre in Leeds. This girl, she's like this Persian girl who went inside, and I was trying to approach it outside, and she went inside. Like, fuck, I don't know how to do shop approaches, bro. Anyway, I was like, excuse me. She didn't hear me. Excuse me. She turned around. I was like, I just wanted to say that you look good. She was like, oh, thanks, I've got a boyfriend. And then that girl had no idea what she did for me. Like, that was just like opening the floodgates, because I knew then it was possible. I knew I could do it. I knew that all I needed then was reps. I needed reps, I needed accountability, and I needed consistency, right? I need to be consistent with it. It's no good just me doing like 80 approaches in a weekend and then not doing any more for like the next 2 years. Like you need consistency. Consistency mixed with immersion, mixed with accountability. Like having that accountability aspect is crucial. I'm just going to share this story because I don't think a lot of people actually know. So I started cold approach on the 4th of July 2020. Oh, WhatsApp's coming through. I started my cold approach journey on the 4th of July 2020. And then when it came to December 2020, so like almost 6 months after I started, December 2020, that was a pivotal turning point for me. This is the thing that basically allowed my growth. It was like the hockey stick or the elbow curve, right? So like I was doing it on my own, and then in 2020, I made the decision to link up with who's now my camera guy in London, Daniel. Shout out to you, Daniel, if you're watching this video. I'll see you very soon, bro. But in 2020, I linked up with Daniel. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Daniel essentially built the day game industry. Like all of the videos, all the coaches, everything that you see today, it was shaped by this guy, right? Daniel, yeah, the guy who does the filming. He's not a camera guy. He's not just a camera guy. He basically built this industry. Like he's collaborated with the best cold approach coaches in the game, like for over 15 years of experience, right? And I got his contact details, and I basically just shot him a message on a whim, being like, yo, Daniel, listen, I want to make a career out of cold approach. I've heard you're the best person in the game. Like I want to make videos with you. So like if you watch those like first London infield videos where I've got that stupid chain and the black puffer jacket, that was like my first weekend in London with Daniel. But what people don't realize is Daniel has effectively been a mentor to me since December 2020, right? I was talking about having that accountability. Like when I go to London, when we make those videos cost me money, right? Those videos cost me a decent amount of money because like, if you look at like the audio is amazing, the picture, like that shit doesn't come cheap, right? But I knew that the higher the financial investment, the stronger the emotional commitment, right? If you get shit for free, you don't give a fuck about it. Once you pay money, the more money you pay, the more committed that you are. But it was twofold. It was every approach that I did, Daniel would give me feedback. But then more than that, I was able to actually watch myself back, right? This really is the secret sauce. Like, this is getting like into like the nitty gritty of how I was able to get so good so fast. I was able to watch myself back. Not only watch myself back, I was what's the word? I was delivering myself where I was in the moment. I was delivering myself online, right? Onto YouTube, right? And if you know anything about creating content online, there's a lot of hateful people online, bro. Look, people who hate themselves. However, it was a superb litmus test, right? Because I was not, so basically I had three layers of feedback. Feedback from myself, feedback from Daniel, but also feedback from the internet, right? People who do not like me, or people who did not like me, did not give a fuck about me. They're hiding behind anonymous profiles so they can say anything that they want. However, doing day game and YouTube simultaneously, it made a man out of me, and it allowed me to accelerate so fast. Like, all of the people who used to say I was ugly, all the people who say that I used to have like terrible game, or what's this guy doing? He's wasting these girls' time, like, you know, just like, or backhanded compliments. Like, oh, it's great to see a guy who's what's that guy say? Like a guy who's like a 4 at best, who's putting himself out there. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, bro. But all of that, it was fuel, right? Like, lesser men would have been shaken by it, right? Like, there's no way putting content out online for the length of time that I did when no one was watching, the vast majority of the comments were just weird comments. It was like, oh, you know, you're ugly, you're shit, whatever. Lesser men would have crumbled, right? But remember, it's deeper than day game. I'm investing into the identity of the man that I want to embody. What would my son think about me, right? I'm not quitting this shit. Right? I'm not quitting. It's that ruthless, unapologetic relentlessness. But having this, let's say this trifecta of feedback, Daniel, myself, the internet, I was just able to get so good so quick because I had this point of reference, right? I appreciate not everybody's going to go out there and film themselves, but the next best thing is just to record the audio, right? Like I was saying, record the audio of your conversations. If you've got a friend, if you've got a wing, if you've got a like-minded guy who you can share those audio clips with, then great. Like, get feedback, get that no bullshit feedback from no bullshit people. Like, this is good, this needs to improve. Like, maybe you're talking too fast, maybe you're not building enough investment, maybe you're like just asking too many questions, like interview mode. Maybe you think that all you need to do is give a compliment. If the girl doesn't light up immediately, you're just getting out of there. Yeah, maybe you're ejecting or evacuating from the conversation too early. Like, there could be a million things. Then it could be like the non-audio stuff. Like, it might be the way that you dress, it might be the way that you look, it might be the way that you think. Yeah, that perceived lack of self-worth where you're ruminating in your own egoic self-absorption, thinking too many steps ahead, experiencing failure in advance. Like, that's a mindset shift, right? Like, that's all about the way that you're thinking about yourself. Like, perception is reality. And that's why I'm trying to use this live stream to program you to think bigger, to have unwavering self-adoration. Yeah, if I'm coming on here saying that I'm the best in the world at cold approach, that's me demonstrating through my actions the mindset that I want you to embody. Like, just having this irrational faith in your own abilities. Yeah, just having this unapologetic self-adoration where you're happy to, or you're prepared to shout your dreams from the rooftops. You're speaking that shit into existence. Yeah, I'm trying to lead by example. But yeah, just having this partnership with Daniel in London, like, I wouldn't, and it hurts my ego to say this, but I would not have got to where I'm at if it hadn't have been for Daniel, right? Like, he's one of my best friends now, but like, just having that, it was just that like recurring contact time over the best part of 4 years where we're filming together. You know, I'm watching the feedback. We've traveled to like so many cities. It's just like, just having that sustained support system. And also because, like, when he's filming me, like, he gets it. Like, I could get blown out like 20 times in a row, and like, we just laugh about it. Do you know what I mean? I've got that social safety net, and because Daniel can hear all the conversations as well, he's just like sometimes I'll say things and like the camera wobbles a bit. Like, yeah, he appreciated that one, man. But it's just funny. Do you know what I mean? It's just a beautiful partnership, and yeah, I've just got massive karmic debt for that man, because yeah, he, like, you know, I just put this message out on a whim. Like, listen, I want to work with you. I remember saying to him, yeah, I want to film around like just before Christmas. And he's like, you're a moron. Like, why would you want to? Like, it's going to be way too busy. We need to film these days. That's what I mean. It's like just putting your faith and trust and money into people who just know more shit than you do. Like, I was just like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing, but I do believe that I can get fucking great at this. I want you to film me. You know, just whatever. I just want it. I want it. You know, I just want it. Yeah, and like, that right there as well, I would say is everything. Like, you need to fucking want this. Yeah, like, don't just come here and be a fucking wallflower. Don't come here. If you're another excuse maker or action avoider or a little fucking crybaby, then fuck you. You're never gonna get anywhere. Not just with cold approach, but with anything, right? You need to take radical responsibility. If you're shit right now, like, take responsibility for that. Right. I'm not where I want to be. Right. Look at your life. Look at your habits. Look at the people that you surround yourself with. Look at the thoughts that you hold. Look at the man that you are. Look at the way that you dress, the way that you carry yourself. Look at your fucking sleep schedule, like how much sunlight you get. Like, it's holistic. Right? It's not just this like, oh, go out, do my approaches, maybe I'll get results, maybe I won't, oh well, need to go back approaching. Like, that mindset is so outdated, so skewed, right? It's becoming the most fuckable version of yourself across the board, and then investing into people who are better than you. Myself and Daniel are actually in talks at the moment, because I'm always striving to make my, let's say, my product, my coaching, I'm always striving to make it as valuable as possible. So I'm in talks with Daniel at the moment if he would be down to help me with the actual coaching side of things in London. Like, if Daniel agrees to, like, come out of the coaching closet and actually start getting back into, like, the coaching side of things again, like actually taking guys around London, like basically giving the guys the same treatment that I've had for the past 4 years. Like, if he agrees to actually do that with me, then this, like, what I offer is just going to be like I can't even describe the value. Like, if you get to actually work with Daniel one-on-one and he's just going to take you through like, bro, like, you are going to be a fucking monster. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm going back to London in February. I've got coaching to do there, but also myself and Daniel, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk. Boys, like, I hope that you feel it. I just want to change your fucking life. I want to make myself the most valuable player in the marketplace. I want to just delight you beyond belief. I just want to just keep excelling, like, keep improving, keep evolving. Like, how can this be better? How can we make this product, like, so valuable? It just, like, changes people's lives into the fucking next life. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, that's something that I really want to do. So I'm going to talk with Daniel about it. Hopefully he'll be able to provide his expertise in the London it'll be London specifically. So if you're a guy, you're based in London, you want to become part of a community, a network, you want to work with me, you want to work with, basically, in my opinion, the best in terms of where, like, what Daniel's worked with Mystery, he's worked with Torero, like, all of the coaches you can imagine, he's worked with all these guys, and you're soaking up all of this knowledge, like, the collaborator, the best person, in my opinion, to work with beginners as well. Like, he's such an empathetic, understanding individual. Like, just a really, just genuinely good guy. Yeah, he's worked with my clients in the past when we've done filming together. Shout out Mark, shout out Tom, shout out Fabio. Yeah, it just makes the experience truly beautiful. So yeah, shout out to you, Daniel. Looking forward to see you, man. That Pret a Manger coffee's on me. What else? Yeah, I think that's everything, to be honest, bro. I think that, in a nutshell, how long we've been going for? 47 minutes. Yeah, I tried to keep these, like, concise, but I just want to give, like, a shit ton of fucking value, bro. So anyway, that, in a nutshell. Why do people say in a nutshell? Because it's, like, small. But yeah, that's my process before becoming the best in the world at this. Relentless, unapologetic enthusiasm, getting started quickly, understanding the importance of compounding investments, like thinking in decades rather than days, understanding that the actions that you take this week, they might well pay off like 1, 2, 3 months down the line, but your future self thanks you for the actions that you're taking now. Collaborating with people who are better than you, like my career, the trajectory that it took off with once I started collaborating with Daniel in London, just getting that point of reference. Like, I think if there's one thing that you take away from this live stream, there's a few things to take away, but I really urge you to start recording the audio of your conversations. I feel like I say it so often, but like, I guarantee like 1% of people actually do it. Like, record the audio of your conversation. Yeah, it's a bit of a ball ache. Like, you have to find out like where the audio starts, and you have to actually go through the cringe fest of listening to yourself back. But suck it up, right? Like, make your actions match your ambitions. Like, if you want to become great at this, and that's what the great people do. They do the ugly, boring work. So yeah, record the audio of your conversations, then listen to yourself back so you can see like what you're doing well, but more importantly, what you're shit at, because that's the only way to improve. It's by having that ruthless audit of yourself. And just understanding that it all goes deeper than day game. Yeah, the person that you're becoming through this process, like the masculine leader you're going to be, the husband you're going to be, the father you're going to be, like, yeah, the world just, I found that the world just treats me differently now that I have this unflinching self-respect. So yeah, boys, I really hope that this has been a valuable live stream. If you have enjoyed it, if you've been here since the start, I appreciate you. Drop it a like, just to show your appreciation. Like I said, I'm doing a live stream every single day for the next year, right? Like, I'm leading by example, blazing the trail for radically ambitious Renaissance warriors worldwide. I love yous all. Stay sexy, and I'll speak to you